Greetings of the day. My name is Lakshman Jajodia, Assistant Professor, GS College of Commerce, Varda. In this video lecture for BCom 6th semester of Business Finance, we will continue with our topic of previous lecture, that is stock exchange. In the earlier video, we have seen what is stock exchange, its definition, what are the features and role of stock exchange in an country. Now we will move further and sum up this topic of stock exchange for unit number 2 in this lecture. Let's begin with the functions. What are the various functions which are being provided by the stock exchanges to a country or to a financial health of a country? The very first thing is it provides an organized market to the nation where buyers and sellers can come, interact and transact regarding what? Purchasing and selling of the securities between both of them. That is what is the very first and the primary function of an stock market. That to provide an organized market which runs on certain rules and regulations already determined for each and everyone who are in the channel of the security, in the channel of the stock market, who are connected with stock market directly or indirectly. So very first function is to provide an organized market where investors can come freely and buy and sell their securities or the securities which they wish to in a very proper and organized manner. That is the very first function of stock market. Second is to ensure safety and transparency. Whenever there are any kind of financial transaction, it is quite necessary to have the safety regarding any kind of transaction, and transparency should be there so that there would not be any ambiguity in the mind of investor while purchasing or selling of security that anyone has fooled me or anyone has looted me. And this can be only done by the proper working of a stock exchange. That is what is the another function of stock exchange, to provide safety to the investors. That is the prime responsibility of the stock exchange, that there should be safety of the investor, their funds and their interest. As I have quoted in the earlier lecture, that in recent past, the company's few members or few employees were found to doing insider trading. Immediately stock market of that particular listed company and the SEBI has taken strict action against that particular company and its employees. In a similar instance with another company, it has barred that particular company and broking agencies to transact for a particular period in the stock market, so that there should be strict punishment to any kind of activities which are not in the best manner of the stock market or in the best manner of the financial market and the investors. Second part is to provide transparency. There should be transparent transaction. As their finance is involved, transparency is much needed thing into the stock market. That is what is the function of stock market, to provide transparency. Next is it promotes capital formation. How they promotes capital formation? By way of mobilizing the funds from the public and using that funds for the purpose of raising capital. So in this way, stock exchanges or stock market acts as an agency where an investors can mobilize their savings and invest their funds into the shares or any other security, and that funds can be put to more productive use. In this way, a capital formation process has been started, and that capital would be used for more productive purpose, and that would again give great returns to the companies. It could give the return to all the intermediaries and agencies who are in between this, and at the end investor is also beneficial by way of great rate of return through investment in this security. That is the another function. Next one is it provides liquidity. How stock exchanges provide liquidity? It provides a platform where we can, as an investor, we can sell our securities to the person who is willing to buy us at the particular rate. That is that in that manner the stock exchange acts or provides the function of liquidity, because it is a marketplace where we can sell our security or we can purchase certain securities. In this way, it provides liquidity to whom? To investors. It can be an individual, It can be brokers, it can be mutual fund house, it can be banks, or anyone who acts as an investor into the stock market can be provided with liquidity at any point of time by stock exchange. Next is it provides wider avenue of investment. As discussed in the earlier video, same thing is been here, that great deal of investments are available into the stock exchanges. It can be, I would list again it for you. It can be shares, it can be bonds, debenture, gold, silver, bullions, metals, commodities, future, forward, option. All these kind of securities or avenues of investment are available with the investors in the stock exchanges. So it is a function of stock exchange to provide these investment avenues to the investors. Next is it channelizes funds in the desired direction. It is the responsibility of stock exchanges to mobilize the fund from the public by way of their investment and channelize in the desired direction, means in the positive direction, where these funds can be used for the purpose of capital formation, for the purpose of growth of industrial and commercial development, for the purpose of growth of nation and the companies. In this way, by channelizing it into the proper manner, the stock market puts the fund in the interest of nation. Next is it offers investment opportunities to the investors. If suppose there is no stock market, how we are going to deal with the shares, how we are going to purchase the shares or sell the shares. In this way, a proper format or proper mechanism has been established by stock market, where one can come into an organized market and sell their shares with a sense of security, safety and transparency. Last is the it builds investors' confidence. How investors' confidence is being built? Two examples are been quoted by me in the earlier part of this video. How the stock market and SEBI has taken strict action against those companies who are found doing irregularities or who are found doing insider trading or any kind of activity which can be termed illegal or inappropriate in the stock market or in the are not lawful. Secondly, stock market provides an organized way of trading with safety, security for the investors. In this way, investor can restore their confidence into the stock market. That is what is the function of stock market. Next part is the requirement for listing on the stock exchange. What we are required as a company when we want to list into the particular stock market, the very first thing and very important document for a company is their memorandum of association and articles of association. So we have to submit a certified copy of memorandum of association and articles of association, which has a detailed all information regarding to the company. Second is the prospectus and agreement with underwriters. We have to submit our prospectus, which is again an important document. Along with that, we have to submit an underwriters agreement for how much their quantum of shares they are going to sell on behalf of us, or eitherly if it would remain unsold, they would be purchasing it. Third document is we have to provide the capital structure details. What is capital structure? Capital structure means what would be the composition of our capital, what would be the composition, how much quantity of equity we are going to raise, from where we are going to raise that equity. Secondly, what would be the debt capital, what is the composition of debt capital, that we have to submit. Then copies of advertisement offering securities during the last 5 years. Which are the advertisement in which we are offering securities in last 5 years, we have to submit it. Similarly, financial statement copies and auditors report copies for last 5 years. Again, these documents we have to submit to them. All these reports are considered important because it is been related with the financials, all the financials with regard to company, along with the auditors report who is going to validate it, that all the financial statement and the whatever the material has been signed by me is truthful or not. That would be I have to submit, and that not for only 1 year, that would for 5 years. Then after that, copy of shares, debentures, letter of allotment and letter of regret, all these things we have to submit. Next is the details of the company since incorporation, including changes in capital structure, borrowings, etc. After incorporation, whatever may be the changes in the company, they are to be supplied to the stock exchange. It can be change in capital structure. Suppose that the percentage of equity raised by you has been increased, or debt has been increased, or any other borrowing which you have made either from debenture holders or from a bank or any other financial corporation or NBFCs, that we have to show. Then details of shares or debentures issued for consideration other than cash. If suppose company has issued shares or debentures not against cash but against any other thing, that can be possible. If suppose you have purchased a machine from your vendor and offered them debentures or shares, that we have to provide. Next is statement defining distribution of shares and other details related to commission, brokerage, discounts, or terms related to the issue of shares. All these things which has detailed working on these parameters has to be provided. Next, if we have any agreement with any financial institution, we have to supply it. Along with that, we have to again provide a details of shares which are been forfeited by the companies for the cause of non-payment. After that, details of securities which permission to deal with is applied for. This we have to provide it. And last one is a copy of consent from SEBI. All these are the documents which we have to supply to the stock exchange for the purpose of getting listed into that stock exchange. So we can see that there is a clear, strict and transparent process. So any company which does not have proper track record cannot enter into the stock exchange. Last part is the steps for listing. How we are going to list, which documents are required, we have discussed it. Now what is the procedure or what is the process to get listed is here. First of all, as a promoter, we have to decide on which stock exchange we want to list our shares. That is the first and prime most responsibility of a company or its promoter, to decide on the stock exchange where we want to get list. Secondly, when we have decided that XYZ stock exchange, it can be Bombay, it can be Kolkata, Chennai, or whatever may be the stock exchange, NSE. If we have decided that X stock exchange is required to us for the purpose of listing, we have to contact that respective authorities of that stock exchanges to get listed. Next is promoters should discuss with stock exchange authorities what are the requirements for getting listing on their stock exchanges. Is there any major or minor changes in the list which we have discussed earlier, and what could be the eligibility for the listing. Then we have to submit all necessary documents which we have just discussed earlier, that is proposed memorandum of association, articles of association, prospectus should be submitted for necessary examination to stock exchanges. All these documents which we have discussed in the prior in the prior part of that this lecture has to be submitted, so that there would be detailed and very careful examination by the stock exchange authorities with regard to all these kind of things. Then company then finalized memorandum of article and association, then securities are issued and allotted. Next one is the company enters into listing agreement by paying prescribed fees and submitting necessary documents. Once we have submitted all these documents, our securities are being issued and allotted, then we have to enter into an agreement with the stock exchanges by paying an already prescribed fees for listing after submitting all these documents. Once we have completed all these kind of procedures and formalities, then only our shares are available for the purpose of trading into the stock market. This is the procedure, or this is the process for getting listed onto the stock exchanges. This is it for this lecture. In the next lecture, we will see something new about your unit number 2. Until then, stay tuned.